Hello everybody and welcome back to yet another game. Guys, this time we are casting another ProTA match on a free-for-all map called the Cold Place. Now, guys, the Cold Place is this is a map from the original game. It's not often that we actually see games played on maps from the original list. The Cold Place is a bit of a meme, though. I'm going to just preface everything I'm going to say with that. This map is a meme, okay? It's meant for this 3-player FFA kind of shenanigans. And, of course, this has been remastered for the ProTA map pack by Venom and Rock. Venom with the design and Rock with the graphics, with the terrain features. And we've got 3 players here that I don't know of. I assume these maybe aren't the highest. It may not be as competitive as the game I just casted on John's Pond, but it is an FFA, guys. What do you expect? These games are meant to be fun, chaotic, ridiculous, and just hopefully great to watch. I'm going to introduce my players real quick. Gorthan here in the red. He is our only core player. Starting vehicle first. Here in the white. White on a white map, I have to say, is That's diabolical. Why would you do this? You know, I think Kebab X is just trying to get an unfair advantage over his opponents by going white. And here in blue, another armed player. So it's interesting, both the ARM players have gone K-Bot and the single lone core player has gone straight into vehicles. Now, wind is very good on this map, so we do expect a lot of wind generators. Red already using metal makers to boost his economy a little bit. And guys, last game I felt like the sound wasn't loud enough, so I did turn up the sound a little bit this game. I don't want to deafen anyone, but I do want you to feel engaged in the action. I would like you to have the full experience, the IMAX here. So I can't promise that that I got the sound right this time, but hopefully I did. But guys, because this is a 3-way free-for-all type thing, it is difficult sometimes to keep track of all the action when there is just all these different factions meeting at separate corners of the map, but I will do my best. Here at the bottom, both the armed players, bottom right, excuse me, both the armed players just kind of spamming out peewees, and Kebab with some early defender action, which is certainly a staple of the OTA type strategy. Now, interestingly, blue has peewee patrols on both sides, which is kind of funny. Guys, I want to say this about FFAs. It's an interesting component. Typically, the way an FFA goes is 2 players will start to duke it out, and then the 3rd player just gets left alone for about 30 minutes, and then because he has had the whole game to just build his base, then he wins by default. So we'll have to see if that's the way this game actually pans out. But red here moving in with a squad of slashers. And guys, remember, this ProTA is based on OTA, so slashers have kept their original power. Back in OTA, you used to see a lot of just missile truck spam. And the missile truck hasn't really been nerfed, from my understanding, in ProTA. They've just balanced all the other units around it, so you still can spam slashers and Samsons, but in escalation they've been nerfed pretty hard. In bar they've been nerfed pretty hard. I mean, they still can shoot the ground, but it's pretty weak. But yeah, this is still a more viable strategy in ProTA. The slasher spam is it's an option. Looks like he's trying to send him into the ocean, but the slasher's not going to do so well. They are not amphibious. So anyway, that's what I'm saying. Well, all I'm saying is missile truck spam is an option. It is a it is still a strategy. It's not the only strategy. You can certainly go other vehicles, flashes, instigators are good, raiders, things of that nature, but it is interesting to see that these units still do see a lot of play. And blue attempting some kind of assault here at the southeast corner of the map, but there's a lot of defenders. And again, defenders, it's a similar story as with the Samsons and Slashers. They've retained their power from the original game, so they are a great defense against both land and air. Where in Escalation they've been nerfed quite a bit against ground, and then in Bar they can't even shoot ground. So defenders can't even, missile towers cannot shoot ground at all in Bar. Most of the anti-air defenses can't shoot ground at all in Bar. So it's interesting to see the different ways that the TA iterations have balanced themselves over the years to kind of create their own flavor. ProTA doesn't really nerf anything. I won't say anything. It did nerf Hawks. Hawks were freaking broken. And Pelicans had there was some bugs. Like Pelicans had these weird hitboxes that you couldn't hit them. But for the most part, ProTA has not nerfed anything. Like it's only kind of fixed bugs, like targeting errors and things like that. But for the most part, ProTA tries to balance the game around the most powerful things. So missile trucks, defenders, Vamps and Hawks, Pelicans, all the things that were really dominant in OTA, instead of nerfing those the way other mods have. So Escalation just nerfs a lot of those things. Bar, I mean, like I said, missile towers can't even shoot the ground in Bar, so it's a huge nerf. But yeah, ProTA has a different philosophy of like, well, let's not nerf these things. Let's make everything else stronger to compensate. So that's a really interesting design strategy. The way that ProTA decided to deal with this stuff that was pretty overpowered in OTA. But in this mod, just kind of fits into the game. But yeah, white has a really nice defense here. I do have to say, lots of Roccos and defenders. That will be difficult to break through with Peewees. And red with quite a few slashers, but maybe not enough to break this. Let's go ahead and check out the player bases because I don't want to miss anything, guys. It's tough in an FFA. Red has gone to T2 vehicles, so it doesn't look like red was ever really going to try to push with this army. He's just using this defensively and going into T2 vehicles, going straight into that Moho mine. White looks like he's still on T1. So, and the funny thing is, red has built no defenses at all down here. There's nothing. Not a single missile tower, not a light laser tower, not even a slasher. If white knew that red had no defenses, he could literally just walk in with his Peewees and win the game. I mean, maybe not win. He's got his commander, but he could certainly do a ton of eco damage. So it's so funny. Red has totally neglected to defend the bottom of his base here, and white just not really paying attention or scouting enough to know that he could walk into red's base at any time and inflict this devastating economic damage, maybe just kill him. Yeah, that is really funny. And guys, I think, like I said, this isn't probably not the top tier level of skill. It is an FFA. This is more for fun, but it is interesting that red didn't even think to try to defend his southern base, and blue still on T1 as well. So red is the only player so far that has teched up, which is a little surprising. I feel like getting a tech advantage on this map can be pretty nice. Already building a Reaper, getting some Reapers out. Now, a few Reapers could easily break through this northern engagement. Even with all the defenders, Reapers would shred those defenders pretty quickly. Just a few Reapers, like 2 or 3, would be probably enough to cut down that defense, really break through the north. Now, a Sentinel is being put up, and that will be a much more substantial defense, especially if you can surround it with Dragon's Teeth. So I'm not Yeah, the longer red waits, it might be getting harder. But the thing is, blue is spending all of his resources making these defensive walls, and it just doesn't really help him that much in terms of like actually executing his game plan. I mean, I don't know what his game plan is right now, but yeah, I think maybe red just sending an instigator through to kind of get some scouting done. But yeah, blue now getting vision and seeing that giant army there, or maybe using the radar signatures. Red also bringing some pillagers in as well, and a nice little battle happening at the southeast. So guys, there will be skirmishes taking place at all points of the map, and I will try to keep an eye on those. Rocco spam galore by white. And if you can get enough Roccos, they're pretty scary just because they act as kind of a wall of endless rockets that can kite. So at the T1 phase, Rocco spam can be really strong if you micro it well. But up here, remember I said red had those pillagers, and to be honest, guys, I've never seen pillagers in ProTA. Now, pillagers in OTA were kind of garbage. Most units in OTA were kind of garbage. So pillagers just really weren't that good in OTA. So I'm sure they've been buffed in ProTA, but I've never seen them used. But wow, they seem pretty strong. Looks like their shell has the AoE explosion radius of like maybe a Crusader. And let me speed it back up to normal, but this is going to be a nice engagement for red, I think, because having those Reapers in the mix, he's got some Gators and Slashers. This is a superior army for sure by red, and he should have little problem breaking through this defensive line. Here at the bottom, white still skirmishing with blue, but red looks like he's going to break through here. Very cleanly in the north, and that is a lot of stuff. But there is this one sentinel here, and as I mentioned earlier, sentinels are stronger defense than just all the defender spam, but even the sentinel going to go down. And now red has broken through here in the north, and he still has his pillagers intact. And now blue desperately struggling to get all of his units back to the north. And blue getting sandwiched a little bit here, guys. Blue taking it from both ends. White at the bottom with the Rocco spam, and here in the north with the Reapers and the Pillagers. Blue's really got to hold on. Blue's sending his commander into the water. Now, one thing about this map, guys, the water's just kind of weird. I mean, you can use the water, but there's no metal in it, so that's kind of a weird thing. I think I'd like this map better if there was actually metal in the water, but of course that's not how it was originally designed. When this map was designed, guys, there was no such thing as metal in the water. Does that make sense? Like, metal in the water was something they added in Battle Tactics, so the second expansion. I think that's true. I think the second expansion is when they added underwater metal spots. So this map was part of the original map pack. There was no such thing as metal in the water. It was retconned, boys. It was retconned into the game. Red really needs to micro this better, though. He doesn't want to let these pillagers be at the front. But it may not matter. I mean, his army is really strong. Reapers and pillagers and some gators. Very strong just against this kind of assembly line of Roccos that Blue's just throwing into the meat grinder here. Very entertaining. Guys, I have to say this game has been very entertaining. I won't say it's been the highest skill, but But yeah, you got to see a high skill game last game between Tip and Rock, and this game you get to see a meme game on the cold place, and a meme it has certainly been, and I am fully enjoying it. Now blue, oh, I didn't type in the sonar command. Give me a second here. There we, oh, I crashed the replay. Guys, sometimes the sonar command crashes the replay. Why does it do that? I don't just kill me. All right. Guys, I'm going to have to start the game over and keep casting, so I'm sorry about this. Okay, guys, and we are back after that replay crash because I used the sonar command. You know, fuck me, right? You know, how dare I use the sonar command? The problem is that now we can't easily see what's underwater, but blue has gone into the sea. But, guys, as I mentioned before, the problem is there's no metal in the sea on this map. That wasn't a thing yet. That hadn't been created. It's kind of like the force power, the force healing power that Rey uses in the Last Jedi. No, the Rise of Skywalker. Yes, remember how Rey just uses force healing in the Rise of Skywalker and just kind of I just put that in the universe. That's kind of this. It was retconned. Okay, there was no metal in the water yet. It hadn't been invented. Okay, I don't know why. But metal had not been invented in the water. It's not a thing. Don't ask questions. Don't ask questions. It just wasn't there yet. Why? I don't know. God had not seen fit to put metal in the water. Stop asking questions. It's just how it was. Red still... God, this is so fucking funny. White building all this defense. Like, freaking Maginot Line here. You know, Great Wall of China. You know, name your defensive superstructure. White has just built god-tier amounts of defense. And look at this. He could just send the few peewees up there and just crap on Red's base. You know? Oh, it's so funny. Like White just missing this opportunity completely to absolutely style on Red. He could just style on Red. Like, Red hasn't even attempted, like... Okay, alright, guys, I have an explanation for this. Like, I know you're just kind of slapping your forehead right now and going, Jesus Christ, what kind of replay are you casting here? But, guys, alright, I have an explanation. Alright, just bear with me. Just bear with me for a moment while Red moves into Blue's base. Red has a strategy here. Red's strategy in defending the southern corner of his base is, if I pretend like it doesn't exist, then it doesn't exist. Red is using Manifest Destiny. He is law of attractioning his southern base. He's saying, there is no white player. There is no white player. And he doesn't believe that white exists. You know, and therefore he has manifested into reality that nothing can attack his bottom base. It's the power of belief, guys. Look it up. Look it up. It's on YouTube. I read it in Facebook. If you just believe strongly enough, you don't have to defend your base. Like, there is no white player. So as Red manifests destinies his defense of the southern base, he attacks here on the east side with a lot of Reapers and Pillagers and Slashers. Oh my! And Blue has more or less been pushed from the land. Blue is now a sea creature. He is some kind of sea anemone. He is no longer a creature of the land. The land has been taken from him, and yeah, his base is, at this point, not long for this world. All this stuff is going to be deleted, and in the water has gone for an advanced shipyard and going for Colossus. Why? I could not tell you. I could not tell you why Blue is doing this. Going for an aircraft carrier. Now, why is he going for an aircraft carrier? You might ask. If I could explain that, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be casting TA games, because I would have some kind of access to the secrets of the universe that that no mere mortal man should have. But in any case, Blue is building aircraft carriers, despite I don't know why he's building this. Guys, I can't explain it, but there's so many things in this game that I can't explain. Alright. I'm gonna try. I was gonna say maybe aircraft carriers give energy. Like, maybe they produce energy. I mean, he could use the energy from the aircraft carrier to fuel his economy. Guys, that's all I have. That's all I have. That's the only explanation I can possibly think of, that somehow these produce energy. But he doesn't have... I mean, they have a good radar. Maybe he just wants the really good radar. I think they have an anti-nuke, too. Obviously, that doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just assume that they produce some kind of energy. Or maybe it's the radar that he wants on it. They do have a good radar. But he obviously has no air. There's nothing to land on it. We're gonna assume it's the energy or the radar. I can't think of what else it would be. But yeah, Blue's base certainly in shambles here, and he's gone into the sea. He has now become some creature of the dark, creature of the depths. And Red finally acknowledging that in fact there is a player below him, and in fact this player could attack his base, and in fact, so he is choosing to manifest this as part of his reality now that White exists. Very well played by Red, using the law of attraction to deny that White exists. But now that it suits him, he has decided that White does in fact exist, and since White exists, he will manifest him into reality and begin bringing units to the south of his base to defend against any kind of potential attack. So Red just playing chess in 4D here. You guys don't really understand because you're just plebs, and you don't understand the law of attraction. It's up there with astrology and Scientology and things like that. Things that only really intelligent people understand. And now Blue in the chat saying, you guys are so brutal. He's so upset with them. And Red is kind of brutal. Like, he's got to be really mad at Red. I mean, Red just not even bothering to defend his bottom base, just sending all of his forces at Blue. Manifesting White out of existence. It's really a dick move. I mean, who does that? So I think Blue has a right to be a little upset at the outcome of this situation. Red was so disrespectful and sent everything at him, and White obviously was kind of hitting him from the bottom as well, so Blue is getting double teamed. I won't deny, I won't deny it. The single carrier here. Guys, the sonar command won't work. But finally, Blue is building seaplanes, so that will get him some air. I think he's the only player building air in this game so far. And White will swarm Red's little remaining army here in the southeast. And White is on T2 now, so he spamming out these warriors. I did forget that warriors are T2 in ProTA. So yeah, warriors is pretty strong at close range. And White should have enough defense to clean up the remainder of this little of Red's excursion here, even though Red is attempting to create sea creatures as these tanks will go underwater a tiny bit. But here at the southwest, Red attempting to break through. But unfortunately, he might have manifested White a little too much. This is not the reality that he wanted. White has too much defense, too many defenders and warriors. So this was a little too much manifestation on Red's part, and White defending his base valiantly. These warriors very strong in close combat. The range of a warrior not so great, but if they can get into the into range of their firing solution, they will certainly chew through most types of units. They can eat the Reapers pretty well. But yeah, and a lot more warriors coming, about 10 more warriors. But Red is breaking through. Reapers are really strong, apparently, in ProTA. And Red producing a lot of them. Oh, and Red has gone for hovercrafts. Red has just been a monster this game. Just relentless pressure. He's really kind of been the aggressor. Both blue and white were just playing defensively. White especially was playing defensively. But Red has just been on the attack the whole game, pretty much. And certainly making this more entertaining than it might otherwise be. Guys, FFAs can be a snooze fest. But yeah, Red with quite a few snappers. But he does want to micro them. I don't know. Yeah, I think Red, a little bit of a micro failure here. He wants to... Okay, he finally pays attention. Definitely wants to get these in range of the defenders at least. And these two Colossus, absolutely useless, obviously. Not doing much of anything. I don't know why. I don't know why Blue has these. I'm trying to be charitable. I'm deeply, deeply trying to be charitable. But I don't know what these are for. I don't know why he built these. I'm sorry. No comprende, señor. Yeah, yo no sé. Okay, well. Either way, Blue in a bit of trouble again. I mean, he was already in trouble, but now he's in more trouble. And he does have a Conqueror. Could that Conqueror change his fortunes? You know, far be it from me to make predictions about this game. I'd first have to understand what was happening this game to make predictions, and I'm not comfortable doing either. I'm not comfortable understanding or making predictions. But yeah, these snappers, pretty nasty, and this aircraft carrier being just as useless as you might assume it would be. Oh, Blue. You know, there are a few moments where I'm speechless as a caster, but this qualifies. Red's sending some more snappers, but you know, these Conquerors are pretty strong, and nice focus firing. I don't think the Albatross can normally hit these. I think he's choosing to target fire the snappers. Hovercraft can't generally be hit by depth charges, so yeah, I think he is target firing a little bit. But yeah, as those Conquerors go down, Blue is in a lot of trouble. And just barely hanging on by a thread. Just by a thread is Blue. He's I can't believe it, but these aircraft carriers have done nothing. They have not contributed to the war effort whatsoever. But in the meantime, White attempting a counterattack here in the southwest corner with a lot of warriors and Mavericks and Rockos. And is it enough to break through? Red bringing in a nice volley of reinforcements to bolster his army. I don't think white is going to have quite enough to... yeah, I don't think white's going to have quite enough to break through. The funny thing is, if white had attacked for the first, like, 25 minutes of the game, he could have easily broken through, but, yeah, now red has a lot of defenses. Well, not really defenses, but he's got a lot of units at the south corner of his base. And, also, white's composition really not the best for this. I think there's better units. I think Fidos would be good here. Shooters or snipers or sharpshooters or whatever we're calling them. Something to kind of sort of break through here. From a range, you know, outranging the Reapers. Stop trying to throw units into the Reapers. Just outrange them. There's a lot of K-bots that or not a lot, but there's a few K-bots that could just outrange this. He doesn't. It's just not as effective to just throw Mavericks and Warriors into this as it would be to just take it out from a range. Let's go ahead and see what else he could do. Shooter. Fido. Crawling bombs would be pretty good here. I know that sounds like a meme, but I mean, send the crawling bombs under the water. Just start walking into the base. That sounds really stupid, but like it would be actually pretty good in this situation. Air would also be pretty good on this map. So far, blue the only player to go. Why is he still building more aircraft carriers? God help me. Jesus, give me patience. Give me strength. Grant me the serenity. Blue has a vision. No one understands his vision, but he does have a vision. And he's maybe blue's just a visionary. Have you guys considered that? Maybe blue is just a visionary. You know, you as the viewer do not have the psychological wherewithal. You know, you don't have the vision to understand what blue is doing. You know, you think you're a good player, but like you can't be on this level. You know, one day we will look back at these replays with awe because of what blue is doing here is so revolutionary. You just can't understand it. So it's fine. It's fine. This is actually good. Look at this. Blue with these albatross focus firing the snappers. You know, the Colossus there in case the albatross want to land and repair. And a couple conquerors here. Perfectly executed. Very well designed. And once again, blue will push. He will stay in the game. Blue will continue his dominance, his reign of terror in the sea. Though I don't know why he's not repairing his aircraft with these two aircraft carriers, but it's not for me to know. In the meantime, red still pumping out quite a few. Well, I mean, he's on the Reaper Gator Snapper game plan. What can I say? That's the and white on the Maverick game plan. Guys, Mavericks are really just not the best unit in this situation, it's just not. Like, Mavericks are good. I'm not gonna poo-poo the Mavericks, but really not. There's just better K-bots for this. Now, White has built some ambushers, so that is a nice defensive emplacement. But let's go ahead and speed this up. Blue building advanced K-bot labs on the edges of the map. He originally tried at the top right. Red found that, but now he's doing it at the bottom right. Blue's ways are beyond us, so we can't really understand what he's doing. But suffice it to say that this is a next level strategy. It will become meta one day. White will push red back with those well-placed ambushers, and red building an advanced vehicle plant on the front line. But red just seems to think that Reapers are the only unit he can build out of this factory. Goliaths would be pretty good. Some more pillagers would outrange the defenders. Diplomats might be decent. There's a lot of options besides Reapers here that would be pretty ideal. This group of Mavericks now moving in, but guys, Mavericks are just not. It's difficult. It's frustrating to watch. Mavericks are good, but they're not good in this situation. It's just not what you want here. So he had a lot of Mavericks, but that wasn't really the ideal composition for that. Red will push him back, but he doesn't want to push him into the range of the ambushers. Those ambushers, as we saw in the game I just cast on John's Pond, are unbelievable. Unbelievably powerful defense. And red wants to be careful. I mean, white has a lot of even though he's just building Mavericks, he's got a lot of them. I guess he could eventually break through. Red deciding not to attack the center anymore and going to the going through the north with his hovercraft. But blue with all these aircraft carriers is holding the sea somehow. And red needs to be careful. He does not want to send his units in range of these ambushers. It's such a mistake. He's just throwing his whole army away now for no good reason. Oh, this is such a travesty to watch. Red really throwing away his army here for no good reason. And also throwing his army away here on the east side because white has this defended very well. Yeah, red just really mismanaging his resources. Not his economy, but I mean his army. He's mismanaging his military. And just throwing these Reapers into the meat grinder for some reason that I just don't understand. And blue has been allowed to take control of the sea, and that's just amazing to me because blue had nothing. I mean, there's no metal in the sea. He had been wiped off the land. Either player could have just taken him out pretty quickly, but now blue has been let back into the game, and he has made this little stealth base here in the bottom right. And at this point, doesn't have any actual military. He's just building jammers and farks. And red continuing to just send his units into the fray, into the meat grind. Um, Blue's still building a lot of torpedo bombers. I don't know why. I mean, he could build actual bombers out of this, I think. Yeah, he could build Thunders. Thunders would be pretty good. Maybe, I mean, he could use Thunders for aerial raids. I don't understand all the... maybe I should just stop trying to understand all the aircraft carriers. But it feels like white is slowly encroaching on red's territory. A little bit. And white has started to build brawlers. And a Bertha. So... I don't know how long this Bertha's been in the game. Let's see. I assume it was just finished. Yeah, this Bertha is just finished. We'll now start targeting red's base. Guys, Berthas and ProTA are interesting. They seem about as accurate as OTA, but they do a lot of damage. When they hit, they do devastating damage. So they're not super accurate, but when they get veterancy, they get more accurate. And anything they do hit is like almost instant death. Almost guaranteed death for the targets they hit. So it is not... The Bertha is not super reliable in the short term, but over time it just sort of deletes your base, and then as it gets veterancy will get more accurate, of course. So this one Bertha will cause a lot of problems for red over time. And red deciding to counterattack, but white has a lot of dragon's teeth here. And single ambusher, of course. Pretty nice defense. But guys, here in the bottom right, blue still with this secret base. White has no idea. This is like a cancer that is growing, and white does not know that it is there. If white knew about this right now, he could go kill it. His brawlers would be enough to kill this base. There's no air defense. But ignorance is the key word. White doesn't know. This Bertha continuing to shell red's base. Again, not the most accurate, but very powerful when it does hit. And now blue has a lot of defense in the ocean, so red really wasting his time with snappers. That's just not going to be enough anymore. This one Bertha almost killing the advanced vehicle plant. Just needs one more shot. This advanced vehicle plant certainly really low. And we'll get it. He will get the advanced vehicle plant. So yeah, this Bertha, let's see how many kills it has now. 21 kills. And that's certainly a problem for red, as white has built enough defenses down here in the southwest to stop Doomsday. I don't think red's really going to be able to break through here at all. And now white moving through with some brawlers here at the northeast corner. But those will be taken out eventually. The army probably wasn't the best target for those, of anything that red could have of anything that white could have targeted. He could have probably gone through and taken out a lot of the eco. But yeah, he went over top of this Goliath and Reaper force, and I think the Goliath shells were we're occasionally hitting those brawlers. But guys, this game has, I will admit, this game has been a clown fiesta. It has been nothing short of entertaining and ridiculous. On all sides, all players really contributing to the tomfoolery, the clownery. But here in the bottom right, Blue with a secret base continuing to now pump out Mavericks. He has a lot of Mavericks. And does White now know that he's here? White should know. White has to now have some idea that that he has been bamboozled. White has to have some clue that I mean, it's like, okay, I don't know. It's like White is not paying attention at all. His bait, let me slow it down. White's base now getting eviscerated by Mavericks. And those brawlers could be brought, but no. White using the brawlers to attack Red's forces up there. But now his commander is here. And White has to run. He's at a, oh, he's really low. He's going to die. So, wow. Blue's little sneak attack base was successful. Operation Blindfold, a resounding victory, and oh, but Blue now with some Millenniums on the field, and Red is in a lot of trouble. I don't think Red has anything to stop these Millennium. He has no coastal defenses, no artillery. Well, he is now building some pillagers, but I don't think they're going to do too much against the Millenniums. And holy cow, Blue has gone from being almost wiped out of this game, basically insignificant, being kicked off the land on a land map with no metal in the water, to now being the dominant force in this game. And I just don't know what Red can really do from this position, because he's not really building the kind of counters that he would need. He does now have some Goliaths. And we'll see if Red can discover Blue's little hidden base down here. Certainly White did not discover it until it was too late. And Red has an Intimidator. But Intimidators aren't as strong against naval targets, because unless the shell actually hits a unit, it will simply vanish into the water and not deal any damage at all. The Blue now shelling the shore, finally bringing some bombers into the fray. Red does have some pillagers, and those won't be completely useless against the Millenniums. But guys, it's a very, very lopsided kind of combat between Millenniums and pillagers, I think. Of course, one thing that might be operating in Red's favor is that Blue has no vision, no radar. He needs to bring one of those mini aircraft carriers over here. I do think they have a high radar. If he could get some vision of the coastline to allow his millenniums to, you know, see what they're shooting at. But sumos are pretty strong. If you can get those in range of the Navy here. And now blue doing bombing raids on red's undefended eco here on the northeast corner of the map. So, guys, this is looking pretty bad. Red now only making 16 metal per second. Most of his economy, I mean, he just isn't really building metal on these metal spots. He's got a ton of reclaim he could take advantage of, but he's not really taking advantage of that. And blue just feeling very dominant at this point of the game. Very, very difficult to stop. His naval army has been defeated here, but I don't know. Red's in a lot of trouble. I mean, Red's army is pretty nice, but as you can see, blue just kind of collapsing on him from all sides. Bombers continuing to come in, and red just has very little air defense to speak of. A few pulverizers, and that's it. And now blue has found red's commander. Red will run, but guys, it may not matter. He's getting really low. One last maverick shot will take him out. Guys, I told you it was going to be a meme game, and it was. It was a meme game, but very entertaining. All right. You kind of got to see on one hand in the John's Pond game what a very high-class pro game would be like, and now you got to see on this game what like a more free-for-all, casual type of fun game. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. That was really interesting. I've never casted a game on the cold place ever. I didn't even realize people played games on the cold place, but either way, it was a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next cast.